Hey everybody, today we are talking about 3 easy ways to handle any objection. Let's go. Hey everybody, it's Hilmon Sorey from ClozeLoop, where we work with the fastest growing B2B sales teams on the planet around sales management, sales training, and sales enablement. And today, I just want to talk a little bit about this whole concept of objections and give you 3 easy steps for managing any objection. Here's the thing. We all know that feeling. You're in a sales process, you've done some discovery, you've uncovered some pain, and you get to that point where you're about to move to the next stage, and then boom! The objection comes, whether it's no money, no time, they don't want to get you in front of the right person, they don't really believe what it is that you're talking about, whatever it might be, right? We face that objection. And then suddenly, like, our hands get clammy and cold and we start flipping through these manuals around how we handle this specific objection, how we position ourselves. We start cajoling, conniving, and trying to convince our prospect to move forward with us through the process. And we know that never works, right? Why doesn't it work? Because objections aren't a bad thing. Objections are actually an invitation to another conversation, an invitation to share some more information in a trust-based way where we can then uncover whether or not a next step is going to make sense and help our prospect to determine whether or not that is the case. The onus is not on us to try to convince somebody to do something, because we can convince them in the conversation. And then you know what? They're going to hang up the phone or get off of the Zoom or walk out of the office, and they're going to start thinking about it, and it's all going to unwind anyway. So instead of trying to handle objections and coming up with all of these steps for how we do it, we use 3 easy steps to manage the conversation around resistance. And here's what it entails. First off, when met with the resistance, acknowledge it. It sounds like you have some hesitation. It sounds like you may not have budget for this. It sounds as though it doesn't make sense to bring in your manager. Whatever it is, acknowledge what your prospect has told you so that they feel validated, heard, and as though their truth can exist as part of this conversation. Too often we kind of gloss over it. We say, yes, but, or, yeah, but, and then though, and we're trying to move somebody past their truth without acknowledging that it exists. So first step, acknowledge the resistance. Second step, once it's acknowledged, you say, hey, Miss Prospect, can I ask you a question? Here's the reason why. Prospects never get angry at us for anything they've given us permission to do. So all we're going to do is get permission to ask a question. So again, we can have this conversation thrive and continue so we can peel back layers of the onion with respect to their resistance. Then what do you think we're going to do next? Absolutely. Number 3, ask the question, right? Here's where you have to have a little bit of strategy though. The question you ask can't just be willy-nilly anything. The question you ask needs to be directly positioned in your winning zone. Your winning zone is that sphere where you know you thrive. All of that pain you've uncovered, this is the thing you know you can solve for. And you're going to ask a question in that space to help your prospect to think further about your solution or about your process or your product that you're selling in the context of something you can solve for them. Here's an example. Prospect says to me, hey, Hilmon, sales training is interesting, but it's not important to us right now. Now, let's say I've uncovered in the process of having a conversation with this prospect that they've actually got some quarterly goals that they need to consistently hit in order to be able to raise their next round in 6 months, right? So I might say, completely understand that sales training was probably not part of the program of what you had in mind and hasn't been budgeted for this quarter. Can I ask you a question? Prospect says yes. Help me understand, based upon the goals that you have and the gulf that you have between hitting the goals and where you are today, how you plan to get your team leveled up to be able to do that so that you can raise your next round in 6 months. That's it. Now we're back talking about the thing that I solved for. Now, is this a silver bullet? Is it going to work every time? And have somebody go, oh my gosh, Hilmon, hadn't thought of that. Yes, I'll sign on the dotted line today. No, that's not the goal of managing resistance or objections. The goal is to keep the conversation going and have that conversation continue in a space where you have an opportunity to thrive or solve a problem, and to help your prospect to get out of what might be their blinders thinking with respect to this is what I'm doing every day, this is what I've committed to, this is what I've got money for, this is how I go about my business, and start thinking a little bit out of the box. Start thinking about a little bit of a different paradigm with respect to what it is that you're trying to sell. So 3 steps. First, acknowledge the resistance. Allow their truth to exist. Second, ask permission to ask a question. Third, ask the question that refocuses the conversation into your winning zone relative to the problem that you can solve for this specific prospect. There you have it. 3 steps. No longer do you need a binder full of objection handling. You just need to work these 3 steps. Hope this video helps on your B2B sales path. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. If you are in B2B sales and looking for tools and resources that you can use on a regular basis, subscribe. We post things weekly. And you know what? If you know somebody who could benefit from a means by which they can easily, in 3 steps, handle objections and manage resistance, go ahead and share the video. As always, there are goodies in the description below, so check out the links for some free resources and things that will help further your B2B management career.